This wasn't just an invention. It was a weapon. A device so terrifying that governments buried it, scientists dismissed it, history forgot it. But Nikola Tesla knew what he had created. In the 1930s, deep in his New York laboratory, the man who gave the world alternating current was working on something far more dangerous. Something that could vaporize armies from miles away. Something that could end wars before they began. They called it the death ray. Tesla called it the future. What started as a dream of wireless power became a nightmare of wireless destruction, a beam of pure energy that could cut through steel like paper, that could bring down aircraft from the sky, that could level cities without a single bomb. The most brilliant mind of the 20th century had created the most terrifying weapon ever conceived. And then it vanished. But what if it didn't? What if somewhere in the shadows of classified documents and forgotten patents, Tesla's death ray still exists? This is the story of an invention too dangerous to exist, too powerful to ignore, too secret to reveal. Until now, the man who electrified the world was dreaming of something bigger. By the 1930s, Nikola Tesla was no longer the celebrated inventor who had battled Edison and won. He was an old man living in a hotel room, feeding pigeons and talking to reporters about impossible machines. But behind the eccentricity was a mind still burning with ambition. Tesla had seen what electricity could do. He had harnessed it, tamed it, sent it dancing through the air without wires. Now he wanted to weaponize it. The idea came to him like lightning. If he could transmit power wirelessly, why not transmit destruction? If he could send energy through the earth, through the air, through the very fabric of space itself, then he could send death just as easily. This wasn't about conquest. This was about ending conquest forever. Tesla believed that if he could create a weapon so terrible, so absolute that no nation would dare use it, then no nation would dare make war. Mutual assured destruction decades before the atomic age. But Tesla's weapon wouldn't level cities with heat and radiation. It would pierce them with precision. A beam of concentrated energy that could strike any target anywhere on Earth. Invisible, instant, unstoppable. The science seemed impossible. Tesla claimed he could accelerate microscopic particles to incredible speeds using electrostatic force. These particles would travel in a narrow beam, maintaining their deadly focus across vast distances. He called it a particle beam weapon, a Teleforce system. The press called it the death ray. The principle was elegant and terrifying. Take tiny particles of matter, accelerate them to nearly the speed of light, focus them into a beam no wider than a pencil. At those speeds, even the smallest particle becomes a projectile of devastating power, like bullets made of lightning. Tesla claimed his beam could penetrate any armor, down any aircraft, stop any army in its tracks. The range was theoretically unlimited. The power requirements were massive but achievable. The targeting was precise to the inch. One installation could defend an entire nation. Multiple installations could defend the entire world, or destroy it. Tesla wasn't working alone. Throughout the 1930s, he courted governments, military officials, anyone who would listen to his proposal. He wrote letters. He gave demonstrations. He promised blueprints to the highest bidder, but he was careful. Tesla never revealed the complete design to any single nation. He would share pieces of the puzzle, fragments of the formula, hints of the method, but never the whole picture. The United States showed interest but wanted proof. The Soviet Union sent representatives but demanded exclusivity. Britain expressed curiosity but questioned feasibility. Everyone wanted Tesla's weapon, no one wanted to pay for it. Tesla grew frustrated. He had solved the problem of wireless destruction, but he couldn't solve the problem of human nature. Nations didn't want to end war. They wanted to win war. They didn't want mutual protection. They wanted mutual annihilation. As World War II approached, Tesla's proposals became more desperate. He offered his plans to Yugoslavia, his homeland, for free. He suggested international cooperation, shared defense systems, global peace through technological terror. But the world was already choosing sides. The age of total war was beginning, and Tesla's death ray remained locked in his mind. The technical challenges were staggering. Tesla needed to create a vacuum chamber capable of accelerating particles to incredible speeds. He needed power supplies that could generate millions of volts. He needed targeting systems that could track moving objects across vast distances. He needed materials that could withstand the enormous forces involved. Most experts said it was impossible. The energy requirements alone would drain entire power grids. The precision needed was beyond current technology. The physics were questionable at best. But Tesla had been called impossible before. He had been told that alternating current wouldn't work, that wireless power was fantasy, that radio was a parlor trick. He had proven them wrong every time. Tesla claimed he had solved the power problem with his wireless transmission system. The same technology that could light up the world could energize his death ray. He had solved the targeting problem with his remote control innovations. The same principles that guided his radio-controlled boats could guide his particle beam. He had solved the acceleration problem with his understanding of electrostatic force. The same forces that created lightning could create his weapon. The only thing he hadn't solved was trust. Tesla needed massive funding to build his prototype. He needed government backing to test his theories. He needed international cooperation to deploy his system. Instead, he got suspicion, skepticism, and silence. By 1940, Tesla was running out of time. War was consuming Europe. America was preparing for conflict. The old inventor, now in his 80s, made increasingly desperate attempts to interest military officials in his weapon. He claimed he had perfected the design. He insisted he could build a working prototype within months. He promised demonstration models that would prove his theories once and for all. But the military was focused on conventional weapons. Tanks, aircraft, ships, guns, things they could understand, test, and mass produce. Tesla's death ray was too radical, too uncertain, too risky. There were rumors of secret meetings, classified negotiations, hidden contracts. Some said Tesla had sold his plans to the government. Others claimed he had destroyed them in frustration. A few whispered that he had completed a working model hidden somewhere in his laboratory. But publicly, officially, Tesla's death ray remained a dream. A brilliant man's final fantasy, a weapon too advanced for its time. When Tesla died in 1943, the mystery only deepened. Government agents reportedly seized his papers within hours of his death. His laboratory was searched. His notes were classified. His legacy was sanitized. Officially, Tesla had left behind no working plans for a particle beam weapon. Unofficially, rumors persisted. Files were sealed. Projects were launched. Research continued in secret. The death ray never disappeared. It simply went underground. In the decades after Tesla's death, Governments around the world quietly pursued particle beam weapons. The United States launched Project Defender, exploring space-based laser systems. The Soviet Union developed their own directed energy programs. Both sides claimed their research was purely defensive. Neither side revealed the true extent of their progress. The technology Tesla had imagined slowly became reality. Particle accelerators grew more powerful. Laser systems became more precise. Targeting computers became more sophisticated. The components of Tesla's death ray were being perfected piece by piece, but the complete system remained elusive. The power requirements were still enormous. The atmospheric interference was still problematic. The political implications were still terrifying. Tesla's vision of global peace through technological terror had become a Cold War nightmare. Both superpowers racing to build the ultimate weapon. Both sides claiming they wanted to defend their nations. Both sides knowing they were preparing to destroy the world. Tesla's death ray was more than a weapon. It was a warning, a glimpse of humanity's potential for both creation and destruction. Tesla had given the world electric power, radio communication, wireless technology. He had illuminated cities and connected continents. But he had also shown how easily that same genius could be turned toward annihilation. The particle beam weapon was never just about military advantage. It was about the ultimate question that haunts every scientific breakthrough. How do we use the power we create? Do we build or do we destroy? Do we protect or do we conquer? Tesla believed his death ray could end war by making war impossible. He thought mutual destruction would lead to mutual preservation. He imagined a world where the threat of absolute power would create absolute peace. Instead, he created absolute fear. The knowledge that such weapons were possible. The certainty that someone somewhere would eventually build them. The understanding that humanity's greatest minds were capable of humanity's greatest horrors. Tesla died believing he had failed, that his weapon was too advanced, too dangerous, too impossible for his time. He never knew that his failure was actually his greatest success. Because the death ray that was never built became the foundation for weapons that were. The particle beam research that followed his death. The directed energy programs that emerged from his theories. The space-based weapons that fulfilled his vision. Tesla's death ray lives on, not as a single device, but as an idea, a possibility that continues to shape military thinking, scientific research, and international relations. The man who wanted to end war instead gave war a new dimension. The inventor who dreamed of peace instead created the blueprint for ultimate destruction. But the story doesn't end there. The implications of Tesla's death ray extend far beyond a single man's vision. In the decades that followed, the mere concept of directed energy weapons became a driving force in military research and international relations. The Cold War superpowers, both fascinated and terrified by Tesla's ideas, poured resources into programs that would make his wildest dreams seem tame. The Soviet Union launched Project Sura, a massive ionospheric heating facility that could theoretically disrupt communications across continents. The United States responded with its own high-frequency active auroral research program, better known as HAARP. These weren't just research stations, they were modern interpretations of Tesla's vision, capable of manipulating the very atmosphere itself. Meanwhile, in classified laboratories across the globe, scientists worked on laser weapons, particle beam systems, and electromagnetic pulse devices. Each breakthrough brought humanity closer to Tesla's original promise of a weapon so powerful it could end all wars. But instead of peace, these advances created new forms of tension, new reasons for nations to eye each other with suspicion. The technology evolved in ways Tesla never imagined. Laser systems became compact enough to mount on aircraft. Electromagnetic weapons could disable entire city grids without firing a single shot. Particle accelerators, once confined to university labs, were miniaturized and weaponized. The death ray wasn't just real. It was everywhere, hiding in plain sight behind the facade of scientific progress. But perhaps the most chilling development wasn't in the weapons themselves, but in their strategic implications. Tesla's vision of mutual deterrence had come to pass, but not as he intended. Instead of preventing war, the proliferation of directed energy weapons created a new kind of arms race. Nations that possessed these technologies held unprecedented power over those that didn't. The digital age brought new dimensions to Tesla's concept. Cyber warfare became the invisible death ray, capable of crippling infrastructure without a single physical projectile. Power grids collapsed, financial systems froze, and entire societies ground to a halt with nothing more than lines of code. Tesla's dream of wireless power transmission had been perverted into wireless destruction. Modern military strategists speak of directed energy weapons as game changers, systems that could neutralize incoming missiles, disable enemy electronics, or even target individual soldiers from miles away. The technology exists, the weapons are real, and they're being deployed right now in conflicts most people never hear about. But here's where the story takes its most disturbing turn. The very nations that developed these weapons in the name of defense soon realized they had created something far more dangerous than traditional warfare. A directed energy weapon leaves no crater, no radiation signature, no obvious evidence of attack. It kills silently, invisibly, perfectly. Intelligence agencies began to whisper about incidents that couldn't be explained. Diplomats falling ill with mysterious neurological symptoms. Military personnel reporting hearing voices that seemed to come from thin air. Entire populations experiencing sudden, inexplicable health crises. Were these coincidences, or was Tesla's death ray finally showing its true face? The technology had become so advanced that it transcended the physical realm entirely. Governments discovered they could use directed energy to influence human behavior, to disrupt cognitive function, even to implant thoughts and memories. Tesla's wireless power transmission had evolved into wireless mind control. This wasn't science fiction. Documents leaked by whistleblowers revealed extensive research into what military scientists called non-lethal weapons. These systems could incapacitate targets without leaving physical evidence, making them perfect for covert operations. The death ray had become the ultimate tool of espionage. Today, as tensions rise between global superpowers, Tesla's death ray casts a shadow over every diplomatic meeting, every trade negotiation, every international agreement. The weapons exist, the technology is mature, and the temptation to use them grows stronger with each passing crisis. But perhaps the most profound realization is that Tesla's death ray was never really about the technology itself. It was about power. The power to reshape the world according to one's vision. The power to impose order through fear, the power to control the very forces of nature. In the end, Tesla's greatest invention wasn't a machine or a weapon. It was an idea, the idea that absolute power could bring absolute peace. History has shown us how that story ends. The death ray didn't prevent war. It simply changed the rules of the game. As we stand at the threshold of a new era in warfare, Tesla's death ray serves as both a cautionary tale and a prophetic vision of our current reality. The brilliant inventor who once dreamed of ending all wars through the sheer terror of his weapon would likely be horrified to see how his peaceful intentions have been twisted into the very arms race he sought to prevent. Today's directed energy weapons represent the culmination of Tesla's original concept, but they have evolved far beyond his wildest imagination. Modern laser systems can disable satellites in orbit, rendering entire nations blind to incoming threats. Particle beam weapons can penetrate the most sophisticated armor, making traditional defenses obsolete. Microwave weapons can incapacitate entire populations without leaving a trace, creating the perfect tool for covert operations and plausible deniability. The implications extend far beyond the battlefield. These weapons blur the lines between war and peace, between attack and accident. When a satellite suddenly fails, was it a natural malfunction or an act of war? When a power grid inexplicably shuts down, was it a cyber attack or something more sinister? The invisible nature of these weapons creates a fog of uncertainty that makes international relations increasingly precarious. Perhaps most disturbing is the psychological warfare potential that Tesla never anticipated. Advanced directed energy systems can now target the human brain itself, potentially altering thoughts, emotions, and behavior from vast distances. The prospect of mind control weapons transforms warfare from a physical contest into a battle for the very essence of human consciousness. This represents a fundamental shift in the nature of conflict, where victory might be achieved not by destroying the enemy, but by converting them. The proliferation of these technologies has created a new form of mutually assured destruction, one that operates in the shadows rather than in the bright flash of nuclear detonation. Nations now possess the ability to cripple each other's infrastructure, communications, and even populations without firing a single conventional shot. The result is a Cold War that never truly ended, but simply evolved into something far more sophisticated and terrifying. Tesla's original vision of a weapon so terrible that it would end all wars has been realized, but not in the way he intended. Instead of creating lasting peace, the death ray concept has spawned an endless cycle of technological escalation. Each new defensive measure spawns more advanced offensive capabilities, creating a spiral of innovation driven by fear rather than hope. The scientific community faces a moral reckoning similar to what Tesla himself experienced. The same technologies that could revolutionize medicine, communications, and energy production are being weaponized at an unprecedented pace. The ethical implications of creating weapons that can operate invisibly, leaving no evidence of their use, challenge our fundamental concepts of accountability and justice in warfare. As we look to the future, Tesla's death ray reminds us that the most dangerous weapons are often those created with the best intentions. The path from laboratory to battlefield is shorter than we might hope, and the consequences of our scientific achievements can echo through generations in ways we never anticipated. The ghost of Tesla's death ray continues to haunt our modern world, a reminder that the power to create is inseparable from the power to destroy. In our quest to build a safer world, we may have inadvertently created a more dangerous one, where the very technologies meant to protect us have become the greatest threats we face.